Hey, what's happening, team? Good to see you. Thanks for welcoming me into your home, into your device, and into your mind. Today we're talking about transformation, as always. This is the Transformation Special Interest Group. And what we want to know is what prompts transformation. Today, the topic is obligation, expectation, promises, reputation. See, all those things are interconnected because there are all kinds of people in my life who expect certain things of me. My patients expect me to act a certain way that takes care of their health. My wife expects me to act a certain way that takes care of her well being. My cats have expectations of me. My parents have expectations. And I have expectations of myself. I've made promises to myself that I may or may not fulfill. And that's really the key. I may or may not fulfill my obligation to my patients, and there's a price to pay. I may or may not fulfill my obligation to my wife. There's a price to pay. So when I look around and I think, oh, there are people in my life who may feel like I am not fulfilling my obligations to them. That's totally possible, right? There's people in your life who may feel like you're not fulfilling your obligations to them. The question is, do I care? Do I care about the ways in which other people think I'm not fulfilling my obligations to them? Absolutely. The answer is a big, fat yes. I care very deeply about the obligations that I have to other people, the expectations other people have of me, the promises that I've made to be there for people to the fullest extent of my capacity, to help them, to serve them, and to participate in their life and well being. See, there's a trend that's natural in all of our lives to say, I don't care what other people think. I'm just doing me. I'm doing whatever I want to do. And that serves a purpose, to be sure, but it's important to not let that get out of control. To not care what your reputation is, to not care if there are people in your life who feel like you're not holding up your end of the bargain is really sociopathological, right? It starts to become quickly apparent that to not care what other people think is not the recipe for a fulfilling and engaged social life. But sometimes people put obligations on us that we don't want. What do we do about that? Well, if we're able to identify when that's happening and to say, hey, you know what? I actually don't owe you this thing you're asking for. I don't owe it to you to spend my life the way you think I should spend my life. Then we can become more and more clear about what obligations we actually have to the people in our life and what obligations they are making up for their own convenience or opinion. So, all I'm suggesting is that there is room for us to take seriously the expectations of other people in our lives, and when those people are disappointed in us, when those people point out to us that we're not fulfilling our expectations or our obligations to them, there is room to see how our bad habits or our short sighted thinking is leading to our inability to fulfill our obligations and expectations to each other. So, this is where gossip comes in. If someone is judging us, if someone is disappointed in us, if someone is gossiping about us, that's as clear as day a sign that they think that we have something that we need to improve. And it's worth considering whether we agree with them, whether we think, I do have something I need to improve. There is a way in which I'm not fulfilling my obligations to the people in my life. That's the first step to the transformation that we're talking about, where we think, I have some growing to do. And I came to the realization based on how other people are disappointed in how I'm showing up and how I'm performing relative to them. So if this struck a chord with you, please go ahead and drop a comment in the box below, share it with friends that you think would be touched by this message, because we're all in this together. And what I think about you matters. What you think about me matters. And sometimes we just have to break down some of those defensive barriers that make us think, oh, I don't care what anyone thinks about me. Because obviously we do. And to own up to that can be a pathway into a new future together. Thanks for hanging out. See ya.